Do you have a penny from the year 1974? Today we are looking at what can add value to these coins. So we're looking at pennies that have sold at auction, either on eBay, heritage auctions, different types of coin auctions, and things that you should be looking for on your pennies. So as always, let's just hop into this one. Alright, starting off here first with a 1974 Lincoln penny. Now this is the S mint mark. The S, for anyone that's new to coins, stands for the San Francisco Mint. Now you can see around the rim of this coin that the coin has been broad struck. So that is a mint error that gives the coin some extra value. It is graded and authenticated by NGC. And this penny ended up selling for $77 at auction. Now, next up is also a 1974 S that has been broad struck and multi-struck, again graded by NGC. And this coin ended up selling for $99 at auction, so about a $100 penny there. Now we'll try to go through the really noticeable type of errors pretty quickly because they kind of are self-explanatory, you know. So this one here has a brockage on the obverse of the coin. You can see that there. This is something that's very obvious. You don't have to search for. This coin also graded by NGC, sold for $120 at auction. Now here is another type of brockage taking place on the obverse of the 1974 penny. This is the D mint mark, which stands for the Denver Mint. It has a partial collar as well, which you'll see around the rim of the penny. This coin ended up selling for $305 at auction. Moving on to a very noticeable type of error, once again, a double strike taking place here on the 1974 Lincoln Cent. It is the D mint mark graded by Annex this time. This penny ended up selling for $55 at auction. And then here's another double strike. Looks a lot different than the previous one, but pretty similar at the same time. This coin here sold for $117 at auction. So it all depends really on what type of error it is, what coin it's taken place on, what the condition or the grade is, and who the coin is graded by as well can affect the value a little bit also. So let's move on here to a penny that has not been graded or authenticated by a coin grading company. Now this is a very, very nice find here. So someone found this coin. It's like a holy grail find, you know? A collector finds this coin and is able to sell it on eBay for a lot of money ungraded. Me personally, if I would have found it, I would have had it graded and authenticated and put in my personal collection. But if you're into selling coins, you need to make money. Still, I would probably grade this coin and then sell it for more money than what it sold for ungraded. So this penny sold for $437. It has a double strike that is flipped over in collar, so you can see the reverse design with the obverse and then the obverse design there on the reverse of the coin. So this is actually a genuine mint error. You can just tell by looking at it. There's a lot of fakes out there called vice jobs where people press pennies onto another penny, and it looks kind of similar to this but much different. But it would look similar to this for the untrained eye, for someone that's not really familiar with this type of mint error. So this coin sold for $437 at auction. Very nice find, whoever found that one. You can actually see the date and Liberty there on the reverse of the coin. Like I said, the obverse on the reverse on the obverse. So pretty obvious error there. Don't pass something like that up. Moving on to a 1974 that has a die break, also referred to as a cud. So die break, cud, same thing. Now a die break is where you see that extra little metal there on the rim of the coin. So this coin ended up selling for $25. It's graded by Annex at a mint state 63. A 70 is the best grade you can get on the coin grading scale. Also, this is graded at red-brown. So pennies will either grade at brown, or red being the best. So this next coin has a larger die break, and you'll see it on the left side of the coin going over the L and I of Liberty. So typically the larger that they get, in most cases, the more money you'll get out of the coin. So this coin sold for $35 as opposed to $25 like the last coin. Now this next coin here sold for $61. It's got a very large die break going through almost the whole lettering of Liberty there. I mean, that is a nice die break, and it is graded at a mint state 65 red by NGC. So that's actually a pretty good price to buy it at, $61 for a coin like that, because, you know, if you pay to have this graded, You're not really making any money when you sell it if you sell it for $61. So someone got a pretty good deal on that one. This next one sold for $79 at auction. Again, 1974, you'll see that large die break there, again going over his shoulder and Liberty. Graded at a Mint State 65 red brown, $79. So it depends on when you sell the coin, the demand, how many's on the market at the time in which you sell it. Things like that can all affect the value as well. Now this next one has a die break at the top of the penny, going through Lincoln's head there. Now this is graded by PCGS at a Mint State 65. So this coin ended up selling for $144. This is the 1974 no mint mark, so you will not see a mint mark below the date, meaning that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Now we're moving on to a different type of mint error. This is a coin that has been struck through a capped die, so you can look for die caps on all kinds of different coins, not just pennies, all kinds of different dates as well. This coin ended up selling for $65 at auction. Moving on to another penny that was struck through a late stage cap die, graded by Annex this time. The coin sold for $74 at auction. You'll see that the reverse side looks very normal. So you'll see the error most noticeably there on the obverse of the coin. So the die is what has the design for the coin on it. The metal die comes down, strikes the planchet to create the coin. So this has been struck by a capped die. Alright, so moving on here to another die break. We're going to look at maybe a couple more of these just to show you guys different prices. This one sold for $9,000 at auction. You'll see that die break there on the obverse of the coin over there to the left side of the penny. Now, why would it sell for $9,000? Well, if we flip the coin over to the reverse, you can see that little piece of metal there. That is a retained piece of the die on the reverse of the penny. That's what makes it super unique and rare, and collectors will pay big money for, you know, one-of-a-kind mint errors like this. This coin, like I say, sold for $9,000. Moving on to a 1974 penny that has a die adjustment strike and the obverse has been struck through. So this is the result of that mint error. The coin ended up selling for $121. Graded by NGC, well, authenticated by NGC. It doesn't have an actual grade. Next up is a penny that's sold on eBay. It has an indent there on the obverse of the coin. Now this is ungraded. It's not in the best condition, but the coin ended up selling for $17 as is. You know, not too bad if you're just going through change. You find a coin like this and you sell it for 17 bucks. You're making a little profit there. Now this next coin is probably one of my favorites of this video. You know, it's a really cool lamination error. You can see that there on the obverse of the coin. You can look for laminations on all kinds of different coins, but you can see like how this one is really peeled off there, which is pretty cool. And it is graded by Annex, and the coin only sold for $28, but man, I would pick it up for $28 all day. It's just a really unique type of lamination there. Now this is a coin from Liberia. The reason I added this coin into the video is because it is a 1974 Liberia 5-cent coin that has been double struck onto a Lincoln cent planchet, a United States penny planchet. So that's what makes this coin very, very unique and rare. This coin ended up selling for $660 at auction. Back to the 1974 penny, you can see that this coin here has a misaligned obverse die, and you can see it also has a finned rim as well. Pretty obvious, you know, mint error. You don't need a microscope to inspect a coin like this. This penny ended up selling for $144, graded by PCGS. And then we have a similar one here that sold on eBay, an off-center error here. This coin ended up selling for $20 as is, ungraded. And then here's a very off-center coin, struck 65% off-center. This coin ended up selling for $55 at auction. The penny has been graded by PCGS once again. Now, here's another off-center, just to show you some different prices. This coin was struck 70% off-center, graded by PCGS. This coin sold for $164. Now you got one that was 65% off-center, one that was 70% off-center, one graded at a 63 red-brown, other graded at a 64 red, which makes a huge difference. Both graded by PCGS, and of course one is the no mint mark, one's the D mint mark. So it all fluctuates in values based on all of those things. Now let's move on to a 1974 S that was struck 20% off center. This coin sold for $186, graded by NGC. Alright, next up is a very famous type of mint error. This is the double denomination error. So we have a 1 cent Lincoln cent design that was struck onto a Roosevelt dime. It is also from a famous collection, but you'll see the design of both the Roosevelt dime along with the Lincoln cent. So it's a super rare mint error. That's why the coin ended up selling for $750. Moving right along to a coin that kind of looks similar, but it's not. It's a completely different type of mint error. This Lincoln cent design was struck onto an aluminum planchet. So the reason why it's aluminum is because it was a Philippines 1 cent planchet, or 1 centimos planchet. So this coin ended up selling for over $19,000 at auction, graded and authenticated by PCGS. Man, that is something else there. Unbelievable. Moving on to a 1974 S mint mark. Kind of looks pretty normal. It's not a super expensive coin, sold for $53 because it has a partial collar, which you can see around the rim of the coin. So you might have to look at this a little bit closer than some of the other errors that we listed here, but yeah, it's a $53 penny. Moving on to another 1974 D mint mark Lincoln penny that was struck onto a split planchet. Now this coin is not super valuable. It only sold for $39, but it is, you know, a mint error that we wanted to add in here because it's from 1974. So $39 penny there. So always inspect your coins closely. You never know what you may have, especially if you guys purchase coin collections or inherit a coin collection or go through coin rolls from the bank. Definitely always inspect your coins closely. And don't forget to check out the rest of the coin videos here on the channel. We are uploading every single day. And don't forget to subscribe in the middle. Feel free to check out the videos to the left of me. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys in the comment section below. This is Couch Collectibles, and this is where I disappear.